From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordo, and this is your News 8 Daily for Monday, January 5th. It's cold outside, but a little bit warmer than normal. We're going to get to the highs of around 49 degrees today, starting out partly cloudy and may have some fog overnight. Unseasonably mild temperatures are headed our way this week.
Snap it to Leonard. He's going to toss it underneath to Downs. He's going to chuck it behind him to Pittman. Throw it to Leonard, trying to keep it alive, and the Texans have it, trying to run with it for the score.
And that's how the Colts 2025 season ends. The Houston Texans scored on a fumble return in the last play of the game, just seconds after taking the lead with a field goal. Final score, 38-30. Despite losing 7 straight games to end the season, the Colts say the team is keeping head coach Shane Steichen and general manager Chris Ballard. News 8's Angela Moran was in Houston and brings us reaction from the coach and players.
Once again, the Indianapolis Colts just failed to finish in the 38-30 loss to the Texans to end the regular season. That's been a recurring theme for this Colts team, especially the second half of the season. The Colts enter the offseason with a 7-game losing streak, 8-9 record, and missing the playoffs for the 5th straight year. Just overall frustration in this Colts team.
I was pleased with the way the guys battled all day, but at the end of the day, obviously not enough. Turnovers hurt us and penalties hurt us, But I thought Riley did some really good things. He showed up, threw some touchdown passes, moved in the pocket well, made some big-time plays for us.
I felt when I was out there that I can play, and I felt like I was a little bit in control of, my destiny. I think the mistakes that I made were, self-errors, lack of awareness or urgency or, whatever it was. I feel like it was internal and things that I can definitely fix.
Despite missing the postseason for the last 3 years, head coach Shane Steichen and general manager Chris Ballard are both retaining their respective jobs for the 2026 season. We're expecting to hear from Colts co-owner Carly Ursay-Gordon on Monday with her decisions on how the team moves forward after this 8-9 season. We'll be there at the Colts complex to cover it for you, but for now in Houston, I'm Angela Moran for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
A season that started with so much promise now comes to a close with really nothing to show for it. News 8's Jaden Reeves caught up with fans.
Fans I spoke with weren't initially thrilled.
To be honest, I thought we maybe needed to mix it up a little bit, but I'm not in a position to make that call. Sometimes you got to mix it up. We've kind of had some seasons where it's been a little frustrating lately, and we've kind of rolled with the same, management, and I think it's just time for a switch up.
We watch football to see wins, and we want to see playoffs, and we haven't had any of that lately.
For fans, the quarterback conversation has become like a revolving door. Quarterback Daniel Jones showed flashes of what the future could look like before injuries forced him out. Then came Phillip Rivers, and then rookie Riley Leonard finished out the season.
We need to stick with somebody and leave it at that. We're not going to have a Peyton Manning ever. He's one of a kind, so we just kind of need to let that go.
It would be nice to see somebody consistent and not turn over every year.
And looking forward, the Colts head into the offseason with questions surrounding their consistency.
Well, to be honest, they had some good games. We had a lot of good games, but we had a lot of poor games. In the games that they should have won, they lost. In the games that we should have lost, we won, but that's Indiana, so.
Fans tell me the loyalty still runs deep for the Colts, even after another season that ended just shy of expectations. In studio, I'm Jaden Reeves for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
We now know which teams the Colts will play next season. The team announced their home and away opponents yesterday. Colts will play 8 home games, 9 games on the road in 2026. Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants are among the non-divisional opponents coming to Lucas Oil Stadium. NFL will release the full season schedule in the spring. Happening today at the State House, the legislative session resumes this morning. The first of the year is when lawmakers normally begin work, but the session actually started last month with the failed effort to redraw the state's congressional districts. During the session, lawmakers will likely cover a proposal for a stricter cell phone ban in schools and plan to allow the Hoosier Lottery to sell tickets online. Also today at the State House, a House bill requiring public schools to display the 10 Commandments in schools will have a first reading in committee. Republican State Representative Michelle Davis of Greenwood authored the House Bill 1086. It would require every school corporation in the state to display the 10 Commandments in every classroom and library. The latest fiscal note says no state funding would be provided to cover the cost of the displays. Similar laws, though, have been successfully challenged in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. Lawmakers could also tackle what critics say is a growing child care shortage across the state. The state made cuts to child care assistance vouchers last year. News 8 government reporter Garrett Bergquist dives into the issue during this week's episode of All Indiana Politics.
Child care advocates say the state has lost nearly 1,200 seats in child care facilities since August, and many of those losses result directly from cuts to Indiana's child care voucher program. I asked Indiana's best political team about the likelihood of a workaround coming out of this session.
The only way that you possibly could see some type of workaround step up would be if there's any sort of major philanthropic support that comes from the philanthropic community. And there are many foundations here in Indiana that are very active and engaged in education. But I don't necessarily know if they're going to jump in when really, in fact, when really the state is really responsible for cutting that. I mean, looking back, though, at a macro level of child care affordability, I mean, it is, you know, Mari and I were talking about it earlier. I mean, I remember when my son was younger, our child care costs were more than our mortgage. And there have been recent studies, actually, that have come out that show that a year of infant care is equal to a year of public college tuition in Indiana. It also is such a major economic development issue. And the fact that the Republicans in the legislature cut this lifeline and really cut what is the first step for a child. I mean, universal pre-K, pre-kindergarten, all of that work, that really makes a difference in kids and in their educational attainment, and it's a marker for future success. And by cutting it, it's just so short-sighted.
Mari, I'll let you respond. But also, could childcare end up taking over this entire session? What shape, if any, could a potential help from the state take?
Well, you know, I think people have to remember that this last year there was going to be a huge budget shortfall. Now, some of those projections did not happen, but, you know, the General Assembly had to make some serious cuts due to the fact that with tariffs and things of that nature, we didn't know what our budget was going to be like, and so there were some serious, you know, cuts. And so I think that was taken into consideration. I think that those budget shortfalls or the forecast was inaccurate, as we have seen now that, you know, we have a surplus. And so I think that this will be addressed in some shape or form, but I don't think there's going to be any major legislation to fix childcare in Indiana.
You can see in-depth discussion of the issues that matter to you every Sunday on All Indiana Politics. It airs at 9:30 in the morning exclusively on Wish TV. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Ousted Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro is expected to make his first court appearance in New York City today at noon. Maduro is charged under a 2020 federal indictment against him and other Venezuelan officials on narco-terrorism conspiracy charges. The Justice Department released a new indictment on Saturday saying that Maduro was the leader of a corrupt, illegitimate government. His lawyers are expected to argue that his arrest violates international law and that he qualifies for sovereign immunity.
We're just going to go through a slog of a trial. The judge is very respected. Judge Hellerstein is a highly respected judge. We'll see how we do. The case it's infallible. People are so happy with what we've done.
Venezuela's acting president is calling for cooperation with the U.S. Delcy Rodriguez was sworn in as the acting president of Venezuela shortly after the U.S. raid to capture Nicolas Maduro. She wrote on social media that she hopes to have an agenda of cooperation to ensure peace between the two countries. President Trump has said that Rodriguez needs to provide total access to oil and other resources in order to help rebuild Venezuela. Elon Musk says that Starlink will provide free internet services to the country. Musk announced that he will provide free broadband service to Venezuela until February 3rd. The announcement comes after metrics from NetBlocks showed that a sudden loss of internet happened in parts of Caracas after power was cut during the U.S. special military operation. Local Venezuelan media also reports a lack of internet connection in parts of the capital. Okay, let's go to sports now. As number one, Indiana prepares for the college football playoff semifinals against Oregon on Friday. The team is making moves for next season. They include the possible successor to quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Associated Press and many others report that the Hoosiers have landed TCU quarterback Josh Hoover. Hoover originally committed to Indiana in 2022 before signing with the Honored Frogs. Hoover could replace Mendoza if the Heisman Trophy winner skips his senior season to go to the NFL. Former Michigan State receiver Nick Marsh is also headed to Indiana. His mother, Yolanda Wilson, confirmed the transfer to the AP on Sunday. Pacers watch team has now lost 12 straight games. Pacers fell in Orlando yesterday thanks in part to Richmond, Indiana native Desmond Bain. Former Seton Catholic High School star scored 31 points. Magic beat the Pacers 135-127. That also means that Pacers coach Rick Carlisle is still looking for 1,000 career wins. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and wishtv.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.